secret weapon changes they've hidden within the walls of update 2.1. I don't even know why it wasn't in the patch notes, guys. And I'm doing my best. We're not going to be doing the clickbait game changing. It was so hard to keep this out of the title because the changes that PUBG Mobile made in this update to not only SMGs but to ARs, the M4 just might be dethroned by another AR, in case you haven't heard about it. So we're not going to watch the whole thing. This is a video released on the official PUBG Mobile YouTube channel. They also had it on their Twitter page and I believe on their Instagram page as well. If you want to check it out in its entirety, the whole beginning was just basically about the Pharaoh. So we're going to watch the whole thing, one take. Then we're going to rewind and then I'm going to break everything down. In case you guys haven't seen it yet, drop a like on the video. Would really appreciate it. Take 1 second. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and hit play. Whoops. Let's go ahead and hit play. Let's go.
Which can recover all your health and energy. Lots of scorpion crates have been added to this themed mode. Defeat the golden scorpions guarding the crates, and you will
come on.
Hidden within. The new desert merchants is also a good place to get supplies. Save up tokens to buy combat supplies from the merchants, and there's even the chance of getting random discounts on items. Basic experience improvements. Besides the new mode, we've also made firearm improvements. We've slightly reduced the damage drop-off of the Uzi and Vector, slightly increased the hipfire spread of the UMP45, and slightly nerfed the effects of the laser sight attachment. We also raised the base damage of the Thompson SMG. At the same time, we've slightly increased its bullet speed. As for the PP-19 Bison, we've slightly increased its rate of fire to improve weapon efficiency. In the case of assault rifles, we raised the limb damage of the AKM and slightly improved its aim assist. We've also reduced the recoil of the Scarra L and slightly increased the base damage and damage drop-off at longer distance of other weapons. This version also introduced the AMR, a powerful sniper rifle.
So let's play it. Let me see.
We've slightly reduced the damage drop-off of the Uzi and Vector.
So this right here, slightly reduced the damage drop-off of the Uzi and Vector. The Vector, without a doubt, is probably one of the most underrated SMGs of them all. It absolutely shreds. You know, people get scared when they see those 33 bullets, but I'm telling you, the Vector rips through enemies. You just gotta make sure you're hitting your shots. The rate of fire is insane. And when it comes to the Uzi's always, as far as I'm concerned, I've been playing this game since release. The Uzi has always been good. We're talking from the pro level all the way down to your classic noobs and everybody in between. The Uzi has always been good. It's an incredible SMG. So the fact that both of these got a buff, is the UMP going to be dethroned? Because there's also some changes they've made to the UMP as well. So it says slightly reduce the damage drop off of the Uzi and the Vector, meaning from range, or you can say from mid-range, you're going to do more damage. The damage drop-off is not going to be as severe as it was pre-update 2.1. So the fact neither of these weapons need a buff. The fact that they got one is crazy.
Vector slightly increased the hipfire spread of the UMP.
So this is the one we were talking about on Twitter. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow me. All the links down in the description. Shameless plugin. Slightly increase the hipfire spread of the UMP45. Understand something. Many would say that this is a nerf. I would say, and when we're talking practical use, so I was using it in classic matches today, the hipfire spread is now larger. Understand, the UMP, the way I use the UMP45, I use it CQC, close quarter combat. We're talking within 5 to 10 meters, right? Anything beyond that, if you have the time, usually when I have the UMP, I'm running something like any AR for mid and long range sprays. So you're not out here sniping with the UMP. So slightly increasing the hipfire spread. That's another key word, hipfire spread. If you ADS, let's say you shoot somebody from 50 meters away, kind of mid-range-ish, and you ADS, you do not see this increased bullet spread only when it's hip fire, which is really weird. To me, it makes no sense. When we're talking science here. But yeah, it's only when it's hip fire. So, and if you're using hip fire, it's when you're right up next to somebody anyway. So to me, the fact that you're going to cover a larger area with the UMP doing the same damage, meaning that the weapon hits like an absolute truck still, It's a buff. It's 100% a buff. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. A lot to get through.
Slightly nerf the effects of the laser sight attack.
This one right here, we still have to do a lot of testing on this. Again, we just found this out like yesterday. But it says slightly nerf the effects of the laser sight attachment. This is not just for the UMP. This is the attachment as a whole. They have PUBG Mobile thought that the laser sight was too OP, so they went ahead and made it to, I guess, because the laser sight, when you're hip firing, made your weapon very, very accurate. So now it's not going to be, basically. I mean, you can't put it any simpler than that. Let's keep it moving.
We also raised the base damage of the Thompson SMG. At the same time, we've slightly increased its bullet speed.
So they've not only the Tommy gun, again, was one of those weapons that I feel did need a buff, especially when you're looking at the UMP, when you're looking at the Vector, when you're comparing to something like the Uzi. 100% the Tommy gun was definitely lacking. It was still lacking. It just was not getting any play. The fact that they've not only increased the damage of the Tommy gun, but they've also increased the bullet speed is absolutely nuts. This gun is going to be, it's going to be busted, broken, good.
As for the PP-19 Bison, we've slightly increased its rate of fire to improve weapon efficiency.
So they've increased the rate of fire. Another weapon that was definitely lacking compared to the other SMGs, but the Bison was almost half. To me, it was almost half AR, half SMG. It wasn't really performing long range or mid, and then it didn't really perform that well CQC compared to other options. So the fact that they're kind of bringing even the PP Bison into the meta, and that they've increased the rate of fire. So in kind of a weird way, increasing the rate of fire, meaning more bullets flying out of the gun in a quicker time, you could almost say that in itself is almost a damage buff, because you're going to be eliminating your target even faster.
Rifles, we raised the limb damage of the AKM.
So this is another big one. So they've improved the AKM's aim assist. Now this was a big one. People often, the reason why I would say the AKM, as much as people wanted to like it, it almost seemed like every enemy you go up against, you were like in the Matrix. Meaning, you'd shoot an enemy, and it seems like all the bullets would kind of travel around them, or you'd shoot them in the toe, you shoot them in the hand, or randomly like get a couple headshots and instantly eliminate the enemy. So the fact they've done two things here. So they've not only increased the amount of damage you do to limbs, which you would often hit anyway, especially if you're hip firing this weapon, even at a close range like this.
Of the AKM and slightly,
but they've increased its aim assist. So if you have aim assist on and you're rocking the AKM, you're going to shred, because it always did a bunch of damage. So they gave it a damage buff, but they've also made it more accurate. So AKM, this is a dub. This is an absolute dub. So this one right here, this is the big one. When you're talking about the Scarra L, and this is why many people are saying, as controversial as it might be, I'm trying to stay away as much clickbait as possible in this video. Many are saying the M4 has now been officially dethroned by the Scarra L. The Scarra L is definitely lacking. And as you can see right here, it says reduced the recoil of the Scarra L. To me, this language sounds like it's overall horizontal and vertical. But if they reduce the horizontal recoil, that will be crazy. Again, vertical you can control with your thumb, or if you're using gyro, that can be mitigated. But it's the horizontal recoil that you can't really control. And that was one thing that was very difficult with the Scarra L. The bullet pattern just not being as consistent and tight as the M4. So this is an absolute dub.
And slightly increase the base.
And it slightly increased the base damage and damage drop off at longer distance. So this is the one that you definitely feel when you're using the Scarra L. So at range, the further a target is, the further away they are when you hit them versus if they were, say, 10 meters away from you, there's going to be a difference in damage. Similar to like when we saw earlier, the Vector and the Uzi, same thing. Damage drop off being reduced. And now, so the fact they're increasing the base damage, of the Scarra L is crazy. I just...
base damage and damage drop-off at longer distance of other weapons. This version also introduced the
And then this is talking about the AMR, which we've covered extensively. If I remember, I'll link a card up at the top. Make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. So real quick, going back to the Scarra L M4, it's going to be a whole debate. We'll probably do a whole nother video on it. But it's almost as if the M4 is slightly being power crept. Like, instead of nerfing the M4, which would piss everybody off, it seems like they're buffing all the weapons in the meta surrounding the M4, because the M4 has remained the same since 2018. There's been no changes to the M4, but now they've buffed basically every single SMG in the entire game has now been buffed to now the Scarra L with a more predictable recoil as well as increased damage from mid to long range. That is pretty nuts when you think about it. So I really want to know what you guys think of all these changes down in the comment section. Update 2.1. Wow, I am blown away. And from the response I'm getting from you guys, the community, not only here in the comment section, but on Twitter and some of the socials, everyone is blown away in a positive way with this update. Absolutely love it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. But until the next one, this has been Riggs.